Evening, gentlemen. I want to take a look at our upcoming session. Going to kind of come back to and hit some concepts that we hit earlier in the preseason period to start to reinforce these concepts. So, session 8 focused on that build phase, advancing the free player. So, looking at our objectives, we want to get better in the build phase. Definitely evident in our most recent game. So we want to get better at provoking that pressure to advance that extra player. So free player is that extra player that we have. And then the reverse being that we need to be good in our transition when we lose the ball. So travel together to reduce space, stepping forward on the loss of possession versus dropping, trying to get the ball back quickly. If we can't, then regaining that tight team. So the focus in a game moment perspective is this build section. As we've talked about, this could happen higher up the field, but we're focusing more on this area of the field just as a reference point for what we're getting done. Exercise 1, I'm going to go back to a double rondo, which we've done before. So 4v2 with rotating defenders. The Grays are looking to build possession and then advance to a higher player, and then we travel together to support that progression. Blacks win the ball and they can dribble exit. So then we've got to be able to really react from a Gray perspective to win it back and get our shape. From there, we move into a 6v6 game, 3-zone game. Again, we've done this before. We start with that 2v1 in that first zone, and it's how do we advance that extra player. So as that extra player advances, we now have a 4v3 in the next zone. So then how do we solve that +1 to create even numbers in our final phase? So this will lead us into 11v11 where we enjoyed the playing piece from 11v11s, but we have to be very specific and make sure that we're getting the concepts reinforced in that setting. So a couple still images for us to look at to kind of connect that concept. So here's an example of us building out against St. Croix. We're pressed, and the thing is we're really going to focus in on this moment. So we have this 2v1. So Troy plus Jack Berry, our left center back. Boom, 2v1. So we got to solve that. If we look at it, St. Croix has gone man focus, so they're man marking us. So right now we're all matched up. Where's the exit pass for Troy? And really, what we have to look at is that where is our free player? So in this case, it's the center back. Their striker leaves our center back to press the goalkeeper, and that creates Jack Berry as our free player. So how do we get him the ball? And this is what we've talked to with Aiden and our other center mids, is though we are marked, we have the advantage. The defenders are reacting. We can be proactive. Aiden arrives in that space. Troy rolls it into him, and boom, we find Jack Berry, and now we have that free player moving forward, and now we can overload the next line. So what does it look like in animation? So here we are in our 4-3-3 versus another similar 4-3-3 or a 4-1-4-1, 5v5 in that middle zone. So we know numbers are even in the middle zone. We have this 2v1 with our center back versus their one striker, or 3v1 with our goalkeeper. How do we then take the ball and use this man advantage? So we outplay. I showed in the prior slide how we can use a third player. This time their striker overcommits, it leaves our 5 open, and now the 5 is able to carry forward. And this starts to ask questions of the midfield line of the opposition. The midfield line steps because they've got to address the ball. And now how do we find that free player? Now you can say that the pressure stepped and denied the center back a forward pass. Our 6 now give us that bounce, and now we're able to find the free player between the lines facing forward. So guys, this is kind of that example of how we take the ball from our +1 in the back, or +2 when we use our goalkeeper in some cases, advance that extra player and find it into the zone. So again, that build into the unbalance phase, advancing the free player, and just getting back into our core concepts of being much better with the ball. See everyone tomorrow.